everyone. This is Christina, and this is Pretty Smart Conversations. Today, I am interviewing a rocket science engineer, Scarlin Hernandez. Hi, Scarlin.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get started. So Scarlin, how did you get started in your career? How do you define your job?
Okay, so I think it started with my love for math and science as a kid. I would gaze up at the stars at night out of my apartment window, and I wanted to grab them with my bare hands. Even though I heard police sirens in the background, when I gazed up at the stars, it was just me and the stars, and I felt this connection with them. I had a difficult childhood, so I immersed myself in school, and I worked really hard because I knew that that was my way to escape. And my mother always instilled in me the importance of education and financial independence, especially as a female. And because of my good grades, the National Science Foundation awarded me a full ride to Capital Technology University, which was a dream come true for a first generation like myself. My parents didn't even finish middle school back in the Dominican Republic. So immigrating here and going to college on a full ride was truly a blessing. And so I started an internship at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. By the age of 20, I was already sending commands to a satellite in space. I fell in love with astronautical engineering and the idea that humans can build and operate such technologically advanced satellites to help humans discover the unknown. Still to this day, I'm in awe of how much hard work and dedication goes into making all these missions a success. And today, I develop code and procedures that will operate the telescope once we launch, specifically spacecraft systems.
Wow, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So tell me, what is it like being a woman working on a NASA mission? Can you give some examples where men and women are a little different?
So it's making history, not just because I'm a woman or because of who I am or, my intersectionality of sex, race, gender, class, etc., but because of the high profile mission that I work for. Galaxies, new planets, the first stars born after the dark ages, the unknown will be discovered, and it's truly an honor to be a part of world history. And also, of course, being able to inspire others, no matter what sex, background, age, etc. they are, is very rewarding as well.
Yes, absolutely, very rewarding.
As far as the second question, I think that everyone's experience is different, and it can change from one workplace to the other. However, I think that most women can agree that we do work harder than our male counterparts just to prove to them and the world that, we deserve to be there just as much as they do.
Absolutely, we do deserve to be there. So what is your biggest challenge as a woman working on a NASA mission?
Well, I think we've come a long way as we see more opportunities being created for women or being taken by women, but we still have a long way to go. I think the biggest challenge is just being heard. So one thing that I see happen across the board in STEM organizations is, for example, in meetings, let's say, just to paint the picture, there's 30 people in the meeting, 30 engineers, and 3 out of the 30 are female. And the woman gives her technical input into the discussion. Sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other. And a few minutes later, a male counterpart will say the same thing, and all of a sudden it's an epiphany in the room. So I think it's really important for us to support and empower each other as women so that we're not only tolerated and accepted in the room, but that we're respected, our intelligence is respected, and we're seen as equals.
Absolutely. We definitely should be looked at as equals, even though, sometimes people don't see us as equal, but I believe that, we are just as equal and capable of doing this. And look at you, you're the prime example of this, so how would you address the gender gaps in STEM and a NASA career?
Well, I think this generation needs to lead. I think they need to, take the baton, torch, whatever they want to call it. They need to lead. They need to emphasize the importance of being a role model for those future female astrophysicists, scientists, technologists, mathematicians, engineers, etc. I think that we need to educate the public more on all the different paths that can be taken with STEM careers. I think that human resources need to adopt new hiring strategies, such as blind recruitment, where they remove the names and identifiers from resumes so that they solely focus on the skills and abilities of that person and nothing else. I think organizations need to adopt new practices such as dual anonymous process to reduce unconscious bias. I think we need more student programs. We need it all to make it work. And we need more money and global attention to this matter, to this problem, because that's what it is. It's a problem. And in the wise words of Iyanla Vanzant, call a thing a thing. It's an issue and we need all hands on deck. To those who aspire going into STEM or are studying it, no one ever said it was going to be easy. Just keep going, get that degree, be the difference you wish to see. And to the women professionals already working in the field, continue learning across multiple systems and expanding your knowledge so that you can connect dots that others can't. Create opportunities for yourself. If you see a need, prepare yourself to fill it. Make yourself invaluable to the company. Follow your intuition as a woman. If you have a new idea, stick with it till the end. Oftentimes your passion becomes your success.
Very true. Very true. Your passion does become your success, and sticking through it until the very end sometimes is a little bit more easier said than done, but it is possible. And you are that prime example. So that is really true. So how would you talk about, leading the baton and, being the leader, but how about the wage gap? And how do we address the wage gap and the Latina wage gap that it affects us in these actual professions like STEM and just across the board in other careers?
Well, again, I think that the organizations need to admit that, yes, there is a gap, and they need to be transparent and commit to hiring more women and extending equitable offers. I think that organizations need to conduct frequent audits and reviews, fair audits and reviews. So, for example, if there's a huge salary range for one particular position, don't just say, okay, well, this female is making within range, so it's fair. If she's making towards the bottom of the range and her male counterpart is making towards the top of the range with uniquely similar qualifications. Level the playing field.
Level the playing field, exactly. There's not enough play field. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
They need to actually promote women. Promotions are for women too. So like if you don't think that you're being promoted periodically, that's a red flag. And to my lovely Latinas, be fierce, ask for those raises, apply for those managerial positions, even if you don't think you qualify. And if you've done all you can do and you've come to your wit's end and you still feel underappreciated, keep pushing, sis, because there is a company out there that will value you and what you bring to the table.
Absolutely. Yes. So true. So we are finally coming to the end of our interview, and I have one more question to ask before we go. What advice do you have for young women that want to have a career in NASA?
Well, my advice to young women and the world has always been to keep going. Going the distance is your only option. Nothing is impossible when you believe in yourself. You're truly in control of your own destiny. I'm a young Hispanic female that grew up in poverty and abuse, but I'm also an engineer that works for a high-profile NASA mission. So don't listen to the naysayers. Go for what you want, no matter your background or circumstance. Crawl, walk, run, jump towards your dream. As long as you don't give up, one day it will be yours and all that hard work will pay off. And don't be afraid to be the first at something, because you are worth it and the world needs you.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to be the first at something. Those are some great words and some very encouraging words. And I'm so glad we were able to end on that note. You guys, we really appreciate you for coming on, and hopefully the next time we will be able to see Scarlin in person and actually have another pretty smart conversation. And I just want to thank you so much for joining us, Scarlin, for taking time out of your day to be able to come on here and speak to young Latina women out here with goals and ambitions, and maybe even some of them being the first at something in their families. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It was an honor.